to go into a more business direction than what I was ready for. And I don't know if you can feel that for me, I did feel pushed to go into immediate legalization and whatever else that you thought you were doing with the filing of the papers and all that, which frankly I didn't understand. I had been in Europe for, I think, close to a month. I was in Israel for a month as well. I wasn't here.
I think...
So I'm trying to say that from your business...
We're moving away from what I consider to be truth, Devra.
I know that I felt pushed, John. And I know that although your vision was attractive to me, it was. It sounded good.
Devra, the idea that anyone else can run your show but you is laughable.
It is laughable.
It is laughable.
It is
and the idea that I was going off at a tangent and doing something that you didn't like is also laughable.
So what I'm trying to explain...
I set up the non-profits at your request. I set up the for-profits at your request.
We know all that.
But you're saying it was my vision.
Do you feel as though there's any place at all, any intention, any hope for this conversation to go anywhere other than a continuation of being on opposite sides of the boxing ring? Is that really what you want?
No, what I want is to be paid for the 5 or 6 months of my life that I gave up working towards an end that I thought was going to materialize, which vanished at the end. I just want to be remunerated for my time. That is it.
So if I'm on a court stand,
yes,
there will be a lot that I will unfold. A lot.
Good.
And so what I'm also going to say is that as you got on the saddle and started proceeding on what you thought was the plan, I was largely physically not here at all. And when I finally did get done with SAI, because I got back June 4th, I headed straight into SAI. As soon as I finished SAI, that is when I really had a moment to catch my breath and focus on Millennium Mind at all. Before then, it was barely a solid reality in my world. And even now, the focus is on the transmissions. That's where the focus had to stay for me, the creator. So I would have been unable, under any circumstances, to go in the direction that you were perceiving was the agreed upon perception. And I'm wondering if...
I have 60 or 70 documents at my lawyers, Devra, over 5 months of time, showing that I was following your lead. The shareholder agreement, you attended the meeting with John Grief, it was drawn up, it exists. I have a note from Tamaya saying the shareholding exists.
That all of this is about money for you. That all you want is your money.
I want to be paid for the time that I work. That's it. That's the end.
You just want to be paid.
That's it. That's it.
Even though there was no agreement, nothing in writing, nothing.
Oh, there were agreements, Devra, between you and I, but they turned out not to be worth anything.
That's right. They turned out not to be worth anything at all.
Now, I have a history of doing what I say and keeping my word. And I have a history of acting from integrity.
You have a history of being a corporate raider, John. Of buying vulnerable companies and turning them over in a year or two and making money.
You don't have any idea about my past.
I don't.
I never used the word corporate raiding.
But that is what it was. And I feel that you're doing the same thing now. You're trying to twist it to fit your ends.
Devra, let the court decide. We can argue this from kingdom come. We're never going to agree.
Do you really feel that it's worth it to you to invest in the court battle no matter what it's going to cost? Because it's going to cost far more than $50,000 that you're even asking.
Devra, let me tell you something. My wife did a tarot reading for you last July, and there was an opportunity for us to sit and talk about the issues between us then. You talk very well, you don't listen too well. At that time, my wife told you that your little empire would be
shoved down my throat. And it doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter what was true for me. It does not matter what is true for... It does not matter what is actually true. It doesn't matter what is actually true. You see it your way. That is the only thing that exists.
Then aren't I a wonderful mirror to you? Because I've watched you treat other people, sometimes in a very, very bad way. You dispose of them like Kleenex.
That's right.
You treat them terribly.
I've disposed of a lot of people of late. It's true.
If you have not learned anything about me, learn this. You will not do that with me.
So is this pride money? What is it?
No, this is just payment for 5 or 6 months of labor, my time and effort. And come on, let's be honest about it.
I don't see it.
You're a very strong woman. If you wanted to change direction, you'd have come and told me. We used to meet virtually daily. The idea that I was going off on a tangent of my own is ridiculous. Even with the shareholding, Tamaya said she didn't want any.
Are you known by others to be a good listener? And are you known by others? I mean, I feel like you are an individual who likes to be the head of his own ship. And it's true. And I feel that whatever you perceive from Millennium Mind is a good deal. It's a good plan. I think you should go forward with that type of concept.
I have no intention or any desire of going forward with anything like Millennium Mind. That was always your baby. That's the point.
Can you grasp or understand or hear the degree to which I was overwhelmed and stressed out throughout those months, and when I finally did, as of July, have time to focus not just on the la-di-da of Millennium Mind, and when I say la-di-da, I mean the airlines and all this, stuff that we were conjuring together, which would take 50 years at least to put all of it together. I mean, it was a bit far-fetched. But when it came down to the reality of where I was at as a human being, where I was at with the job that was laid before me, whether that is a divine plan for 100 years from now, I really can't say. But what I do know, what is put in front of me now, you would never have had the patience for. Because it was not this big money, wheeling, dealing type of thing. It isn't. That's not what I am involved in. So I don't see how you would have wanted to participate.
Devra, you're repeating back almost a film script as though it is my reality. It's not my reality.
Okay.
My reality was
John, is there any, should I stay here any longer, or should I leave? If you just want to sue, and that's all that you're going to do, and you're hell-bent on doing that, then there's really not so much reason for me to be here. I was hoping that by coming here,
you could talk me out of it.
I hoped, in my foolishness perhaps, if you were able to hear
Devra,
what was actually taking place for me, that maybe you could put your dagger back wherever it belongs. Because I feel stabbed in the back by you, John. I feel literally stabbed in the heart, stabbed in the back. I feel fucked up the ass. I feel so fucked over by you. Because you weren't listening to me. All the stories, I will serve you and I will listen to you and I will take this forward according to your desire. It turned out to be a lie. It was according to your picture, your story, your path, not the path that Millennium Mind was. And it's a joke for you to keep saying that it's anything else and painting yourself as this patron saint of Millennium Mind or knight in white shining armor. You've turned out to be a betrayer in my life. That's what you've turned out to be. It hurts. It hurts a lot. And if you're going to sue me now with your final ta-da, then just say so, and I can be on my way. You know, it's going to look horrible, primarily for you.
For me, Devra. All the little skeletons in your cupboard will come out. The Beatrice McGuire will be paraded out there.
She completely recanted, my dear.
Did she?
Yes, she did.
What about...
It turns out somebody scraped her with their goddamn watch. It never had anything to do with me at all. But you didn't want to know the truth from her.
Well, she phoned me up and told me...
Nor did you want to know that she's mentally unbalanced, and there's a host of people, including her attorney, who will tell you that.
It is alleged by someone else that they got their jaw broke at Shaktipat as well.
Oh, who got their jaw broke? And we don't... Is this ever been what you have witnessed, John?
It's not been what I've witnessed, but it's...
Well, where does... So this is the point. That people who are mentally imbalanced come and make these accusations, which we get 1 or 2 a year, and immediately you go on their bandwagon.
I'm not on their bandwagon, Devra.
It feels like
I never sided with them. I would remind you, you just...
Then why are you
I would
using
you
it as
remind...
a weapon?
I would remind you...
So
I would
if-
remind you...
So,
listen,
I'm not
for
going
a
to take
change.
this laying down. If you want
No,
to sue,
you
let's
have-
go so fucking down and dirty. Huge expenses, John, and it isn't going to come out of my pocket. It will come out of yours. Now, I think that's stupid waste of both of our time. Because when it comes to dragging all of this, it is
Which
going to
is
come
what you
down
said
to
you're going to
basic
do.
reality. Drag the skeletons. Defame all you want. Defame all you want. If that's what you enjoy, if that's what you get off on, go ahead and do it. You're going to do that kind of thing anyway, with or without a lawsuit. With or without it. You already are. Slandering is at the top of your list. I haven't had time to discuss my situation with you.
What slanders, Devra?
Because
I have seen your letters go out. I've seen the lies.
The comment that you just made about Beatrice is based on untrue information.
It is based on a letter I received from her as a
Why
director.
is it dropped? Why did nothing ever happen with it? Why did someone come
She
forward?
phoned me and told me that she'd received a settlement from you.
That's right, in a roundabout way, because somebody else actually scraped her with their bracelet. That's what happened. And so, but you would discount that and believe someone who is documented as being mentally unbalanced. Why would someone say...
How would I know whether she was documented as being mentally unbalanced?
So, John, does it make any sense if a person says, I've been savagely mauled, but I remain completely calm and centered throughout, but they never mentioned it till 8 or 9 months later? Doesn't that sound somewhat off? Doesn't that sound strange? How does someone get savagely mauled in public, but they remain perfectly calm? I'm completely unaware of it. It turns out somewhere in the room, someone raped her over the, not deliberately and not holding her down against her will or anything like that. But it hurts me in the heart that you would believe this person and assume that it's a skeleton in my closet.
Devra, you started this conversation by saying that you were going to get at me in the court by bringing things out of the cupboard. When I recant by saying you've got more skeletons than I have...
I am talking about the facts of your employment with us. I am not talking about your past, and you've got your share of skeletons. Everybody does. I don't think everything you've done in your past you're so proud of either. That really isn't relevant to this. I don't think.
I think the way you treat people and the way you treated me.
So do you want to
There are
sue me for that?
circumstances. I want payment for the 5 or 6 months' time I put into your organization. That is all.
I'm probably not going to be allowed to do that. I'm just letting you know, John, that it's probably not likely that I'm going to fill out a check for $50,000 and just hand it to you.
I never expected you to.
So then it seems to me, though, that that's the truth. Then you do just want to sue purely for the point of it.
No, not at all.
Then what is the point?
The point is...
Is it money?
No.
Is that the point?
Do you want me to answer?
Yeah.